Zap 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 Lightning. Zap Zap Lightning. Lightning. Vader.
Hello everybody, we've recently had some leaks for 2026 LEGO Star Wars sets as well as some official reveals which we'll be talking about today. Kicking things off, we have a potential April Fool's joke but also a possible leak with images of the 75453, Sandcrawler, and Mudhorn. While I was quick to dismiss it as fake, we have gotten leaks before on April Fools that turned out to be true, so I thought it would be worth mentioning. Briefly covering the general information, it'll cost $200, have 1,683 pieces, and release on August 1st. Looking at the picture now, it looks to be an early preliminary image. With that said, it is fairly accurate to what was expected and actually matches the previously leaked prototype drawing. This Sandcrawler was meant to be based off the Sandcrawlers we saw in the Mandalorian TV show, which in contrast to Tatooine Sandcrawlers have a more grayish color. While this is interesting, the amount of gray ships and vehicles being made by LEGO is starting to get maddening, so this new variation of the Sandcrawler probably isn't releasing at the best of times. Giving a general assessment, I'd say it's a fairly good Sandcrawler. LEGO's angling with non-square shapes has been much improved in the previous few years, so they've been able to make the angles on the Sandcrawler look good all around. There are some strange gaps in between the sections, which is a potential worry for its stability and doesn't look that great, but it does appear to be an accommodation for the door, so it isn't that big of a deal. The bigger point of controversy, as I mentioned earlier, will probably be the gray coloring. Similar to the Bad Batch shuttle from a few years back, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with the Sandcrawler itself, but the color will definitely draw some scrutiny, with the spatterings of brown and tan coloring covered with gray tiling being a potential point of criticism. The minifigures we see on screen are the Mandalorian and the new version of Grogu, which are to be expected, as well as the grey-robed Jawa. I was unsure if LEGO might not just go the lazy route and include normal brown-robed Jawas, however I appreciate that they gave these Jawas their accurate robe colors for the scenes they're based on, where they uniformly use grey robes. Mostly off-screen as well is Queel the Ugnaught, whose head is just poking out of the bottom. Based off what we see, it looks like he may be riding his Blurg, which would be a pleasant surprise since the set was only supposed to have a side build of a Mudhorn. Speaking of the Mudhorn, it is completely off-screen from here, which is strange but not without precedent. Seeing as the Mandalorian has the knife he used to fight it, I am fairly confident it is included. Overall, it seems to be a solid Sandcrawler, if not overpriced at $200. And even if this image is fake, it is still an excellent render of what the Sandcrawler is expected to look like. Moving on to some smaller leaks now, we've had leaked images of an Imperial Warlord minifigure who is meant to be in a set based off the Mandalorian and Grogu releasing later this year. While not the best, it is solid all around with a printed fur coat flowing down from the torso to the hip to the legs in characteristic Star Wars Warlord fashion. There's not much else to say about it, however it is hilarious that this is a supposed warlord when his Imperial insignia ranking shows 2 red bars and 2 blue bars, which signifies a lieutenant. Next up we have a polybag that we're supposed to be getting later this year, which is the 30728 to Razor Crest. It'll have 74 pieces, cost $5, and has an unknown release date. It's actually reasonably good for its miniature size, with a lot of the rounded off detailing integrated in very nicely. It's nothing to write home about, but is a nice addition to the polybag series. Last up for the leaks, we have a couple of European exclusive minifigures coming in the LEGO Star Wars magazine, those being a Commando droid and a Jango Fett. These are both excellent minifigures which are relatively hard to get otherwise, so it's nice to see them be released in a more accessible form. As additional information for any of my viewers from Europe, these will be released later this month. Moving on to a couple of sets which LEGO have officially revealed, we first have the 75439 Darth Vader bust. It'll be released on April 26th, cost $50, and have 349 pieces. I'm not a big fan of many of the display sets LEGO makes, however this one is honestly quite good. The design is all around solid and rounds off nicely considering the constrictions of LEGO pieces. Vader's helmet in particular is praiseworthy, with the shape being captured with a high degree of accuracy. Thankfully LEGO included his breathing triangle as well, rather than leaving half of it off as they did in the previous Darth Vader's helmet. This bust is overall a good set, with the Vader minifigure also being a nice addition, and barring any issues with pricing, if you're interested in his playsets, it's definitely one worth picking up. It'll also be released on April 26th, cost $50, and have 399 pieces. In contrast to the Darth Vader bust, this Master Yoda bust kind of sucks. He's unfortunately fallen to the buildable Chewbacca effect and looks like he hasn't slept in 2 weeks. His head size as well is proportioned hilariously compared to his body, with his hands and arms being wider than his head. His lightsaber as well looks kind of ridiculous compared to previous ones that LEGO have made. The Yoda minifigure is decent, but it isn't nearly enough to save this set. Alright everyone, that is everything for today's video. Tell me your thoughts on these new 2026 LEGO Star Wars leaks in the comment section down below. Which of these sets is your favorite? Which new minifigure are you most excited for? Do you think the Sandcrawler image is real or fake? And one last thing before you leave, please remember to hit the subscribe button, ring the notifications bell, and leave a like on the video. Bye!